Hey there everyone, thank you again for watching another episode of PolytoneTV. My name is Brandon Karazinski, and today I'm coming at you with another music review. Today I'm going to be doing a full-length album review, and this one's going to be on the brand new Mayday Parade album titled Black Lines. When I first heard about this album, I was really excited about it because it'd been a little while since I heard a brand new Mayday Parade record, and I was also very excited to review it because Mayday Parade has been one of my favorite artists in Vans Warped Tour music community scene. Their last few albums, they just put out just consistent record after consistent record. Personally, I've never truly disliked the song by them. They've just been one of those artists for me that could truly do no wrong. And when this album came out, there was talks of this album coming out, I was very excited for it simply because I wanted to see what direction they were going to go in. And I had a feeling that they would start progressing into a new sound or try something different simply because the last few albums that they put out have been kind of synonymous in sound. So, much to my liking, they did end up going a different direction with this album. And I'm excited to talk a little bit more about it. So here we go. We're going to do a track-by-track review of this album. Much like I did with the last full-length album review that I did, I'm just going to be pulling out some of my favorite tracks on the record and probably the most significant ones that people know about and just talking about them rather than go through the entire record track by track. So these are my favorites, and let's see what I think about them. Now the album kicks off with a track titled "One of Them Will Destroy the Other," and this song features Dan Lampson from the band Real Friends. Now when I first heard the song, it was when the music video for it came out. I think it was a couple months ago it came out, and I was very excited to hear it, simply because when the track kicked off, it was much different than what I'm used to for a first track on a Mayday Parade album. Typically like in the self-titled album that they had, it kind of started off slow with "Oh Well, Oh Well," and then it just built up into a bigger song. But this one kind of took me aback because this song was definitely probably the most aggressive Mayday Parade song that I heard. And so with that, it just was clearly evident to me that yes, they are going a different route as far as musical style goes. And overall, I thought it was a pretty cool track. It was a cool track, but for me, this song was just kind of okay for me, and these are the reasons why it was just alright for me. I thought the instrumentals were cool. I thought the guitar, the effects on the guitar tones were really nicely done, and I think it's cool that they had this song kick it off to kind of give people a new perspective on Mayday and their new style. But for me, what really was like the kind of weak factor of the song was kind of the vocals, to be honest with you. And here's why. I thought that the vocals worked. I thought that Derek's voice, which with like the more grittiness to it, I thought it worked for the track. But for me, it just kind of sounded like he was singing a little bit out of his range. And this is coming from someone who's listened to Mayday for quite a few years, and I've seen them live before, and I could just, some people will argue, hey, that's just him adding grittiness to his voice. I'm like, it sounds kind of strainy to me, and that was just kind of the weak factor for the song. It's definitely something I could jam along to, I could definitely have fun to, but this song was just overall, it was just alright for me. And as far as the feature goes, Dan Lampson being on the track, I thought it was an okay collaboration. It was just kind of one of those collaborations where it was like, they're on the track and didn't really do too much for me, simply because I felt like the voices blended a bit too much and there was no like significant difference that I could point out. It also doesn't help the fact that I don't listen to Real Friends as much as the next guy, so I can't really speak too much on Dan's voice. But overall, this track was just alright for me. Track number 2 on the album is a song called Just Out of Reach. And this track definitely got me more interested into the record. I did like this song better than the opening track. I felt like the instrumentals were really tight and really cool. I felt with the down-tempo stuff, and also the drums really impressed me in like the opening part. The little drum rolls, things of that nature really got me interested in the track because it just kind of had a cool groove to it. And the vocals definitely I thought were better on this track compared to the previous one. I felt like Derek kind of kept it more within his range. He kind of balanced between the more clean vocals that I know him for, as well as like the grittiness, and with that balance I enjoyed the track much more. So I'd say this one was definitely a step in a better direction as far as the album goes for me. Track number 3 of the album was another track that interested me. It was called Hollow. Now this song, I like the intro of it. It was again more with the down tempo, very heavy on the bass groove, and I thought the song was pretty cool. Especially it utilized the guitar effects a lot, and that seems to be the resounding theme into this album so far. I mean, it's only 3 tracks in, but I could tell that based on the first 3 tracks alone, this album is very heavy on the guitar tones as well as the effects that are used on them. And this song was good. It wasn't a terribly exciting song. I don't think it was meant to be like a very uplifting song, which is just kind of odd for me, because compared to what I've listened to in the past by Mayday, it's just weird hearing them in this light. But at the same time, I kind of like it as well, because it is a change for them, and I think bands should continue to progress and change. So yeah, this track was definitely a good one for me, and definitely one of my favorites on the album. Track number 4 of this album was a song called Letting Go. This was another song that was put out prior to the release of this album, and this was the first of the ballads that came from this album. And I was very curious to hear how this song would sound, considering it was more in the ballad category, and I've always loved and known Mayday for their good ballads, and I was curious to see how, with this new style, they would translate their ballads into this new genre that they're going. And honestly, the translation, it was just okay for me. It was just a song that I really couldn't get too into. It wasn't a song I could really sing along to. It was just like I liked the acoustics in it. I liked the opening part of it, but I think with the that and coupling with the guitar tone effects, it just didn't work out for me too as much as I would have liked it to. So this track was just alright for me. Track number 5 on the album was a song called Let's Be Honest, and this was probably my favorite track on the record, because I think that this song balanced both the new style and also had some nuances, and also it was reminiscent of their older style, because it had like some of the more driving up-tempo parts of the song. And I thought this song was just really great. I thought the lyrics were good. I felt that the strain that's I keep saying that the whole review, but the strain and grit that's in Derek's voice, I thought that it really worked well for the song. And the guitars were just really cool on this entire track, and the whole groove, and just to go from like a down tempo to a more up tempo, I like the swing in that. So this was definitely my favorite track on the album. Track number 6 on the album was a song called Keep in Mind Transmogrification is a New Technology. The title alone is a mouthful. I like this track. This was also, again, another one of those songs that was just kind of a throwback to the original style that I love and know by that Mayday Parade does. And this song was definitely good. I like the up-tempo parts, the implementation of the pop-punk elements, like the high-tempoed drum beats, as well as the vocals went well with this track as well. I mean, again, I still feel like throughout the course of this album, Derek just kind of sings a little bit out of his range. I don't know if this grit is intentional, but it just sounds like his voice is going. And another big critique about this song for me is that I felt it was too long. And it's not that I didn't like the song. I enjoyed the song. It's just I feel like I would have been more inclined to listen along to it more carefully had the song been cut down to maybe like 3.5 minutes rather than 5 minutes. I just felt like the track was a little too long, and when a track is too long, sometimes it's hard to captivate interest. So that was my main critiques for that song. So this song was good, it just wasn't great for me. Track number 7 on this album is a song called Narrow. Now this track also goes more the ballad route, and I definitely think that this one was one of the better done ballads on this album. The song starts off with just kind of a more quiet guitar going along with Derek's voice, which is a little more melancholy, just kind of more softer, kind of soothing sounding vocals, and then later the full band comes in. And this again was a ballad track by Mayday that had some elements of their previous style, but also implemented a new style as well. And this was this was a really good track for me, and it's definitely another one of my favorites on this album. For the last song that I'm going to review for this album, I'm going to skip ahead to track number 12, which was the closing track, One of Us. Now, I really like this song because, again, it was another one of those songs that had the reminiscence of their previous style, and but also implemented some of the newer style as well. I thought this was just a good way to close out the album. It just kind of closed it out on more of a brighter note, on an album that overall was just a little more melancholy and what I'm used to hearing from Mayday Parade. So I thought that this was a good closing track, and I liked that it ended the album on a high note. So really great job on that track. Now to kind of give some overall comments on the album, I'll start off with some of the things that I liked most. First of all, the first big positive comment that I have for this album is that I'm very glad that Mayday Parade is kind of pursuing a new style. It's showing that they're growing as artists and they're willing to experiment and try new things and just not be restricted by boundaries of their previous work. But at the same time, with this new style change, this is also kind of my biggest critique as well. It's like kind of a double-edged type of thing. And what I mean by that is that when bands change their style up, for some bands it works well immediately when that first new style comes out on the first new record. And in this case for Mayday Parade, I feel like this is a great style for them, and it's definitely going to be something good for them to pursue down along the way. But I feel like they need more time to gel with this style, and I feel like I'll be really more behind this style when another album of this type comes out, whether it be the next album or the album after that, if they decide to go down this route further. And I kind of hope that they do, because I'm excited to see how they would grow and progress into this style. This style is kind of reminds me of kind of like the old school Brand New, kind of more of like an alternative emo kind of genre. Now, my biggest critiques of this album, again, I said it during the track-by-track review, is Derek's voice just seems to be going, and I think it fits really well for this style, but you could just tell that it just kind of is strained, and it just kind of, I don't know, I feel like for the next album maybe work on singing in his own range. That's just me personally. That's just what I feel towards that. But overall, this album wasn't a great record for me. It wasn't a bad record either. It was just okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just kind of in the middle. It was just okay for me. So with that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to rate this album a 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was just all right for me. And like I said, I'm looking forward to hearing more releases with them, with this style. One of the biggest things for me for this album overall was that listening to each and every track. The great thing about Mayday Parade that I've always loved in the past is that there are certain songs I do listen to by them, and every time you listen to them, you feel like you're listening to those songs for the first time. They just kind of have that kind of awesome, amazing feeling that it just instills upon you, and I just didn't really find one of those tracks on this album, and that was kind of another small letdown. And I understand that's going to happen when you're switching up your style, but that was just really another big thing for me. And I hope that with future albums, when they're a little more solid in this style, that those songs that really stand out will return again. And I'm looking forward to the future for them. I'm always going to love and support this band, but this album was just alright for me. But I'm looking forward to see what they have for the future. So thank you all so much for watching my review of the new album by Mayday Parade called Black Lines. I was really excited to review this album, and I really enjoyed breaking it down for you all. I'm going to be putting up another music review very soon, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, thank you again for watching. Subscribe, like, comment on the video, share it around, and thank you for watching this episode of PolytoneTV. And until next time, thanks for watching.